Hi drama queens! Today's episode question is, have you had an ex come back to haunt you after a long time? How did you handle that? Let's see how Jiho and Sang-Eun both need to deal with this headache in this episode, and the repercussions are quite severe. So get comfy everybody, and let's binge! Episode 11 continues from last episode where Sang-Eun's face is plastered all over the media as Hae-Jin's fiancé. Jiho is unaware of this at first. He runs into his ex-wife again at the courthouse. It seems she uses some of her time to act as pro bono lawyers for poor people who can't afford lawyers. Too bad these improvements don't really concern Jiho anymore, who has his heart set on Sang-Eun. But his ex doesn't think so. She's actually gotten it in her head that she wants to rekindle her old romance with Jiho. When she was married to Jiho, she was so keen on advancing her career that she was flirty with anyone and everyone who is important. She would ignore Jiho's concerns and his effort to make nice dinners for them and stay out late drinking into the night with higher-ups. She would also dismiss his breakfast every morning, giving the excuse that she's late for work. This kind of marriage obviously wouldn't last, and she jokes that there is karma for how she treated him, because all her advancement plans with higher-ups never panned out and she was just left hanging. Jiho doesn't care. He tells her again that he's with Sang-Eun now and it's no longer a contractual relationship, yay. At this exact moment though, his ex shows him an article exposing Sang-Eun's identity as Hae-Jin's fiancé. Seeing this, Jiho quickly walks off. He calls Sang-Eun, who's being escorted home by Hae-Jin in his van. He asks if she's doing okay and reassures her that he trusts her 100%. Back at his office, he's surprised by his boss, who came to tell him that under Sang-Eun's guidance, he has proven himself to be normal and not antisocial. So they are now putting him back on the normal path to promotion in the ranks. Jiho is distracted and doesn't act overly excited, since he knows the current news that's trending will come back to bite him at work as well. Hae-Jin is walking Sang-Eun back to her place. He gets a call from his family saying that his mom is drunk and making a huge fuss. To add to the chaos, Miss Yu comes down to greet them, smiling like an evil cat upon seeing Hae-Jin. There are some passerbys who seem to recognize Hae-Jin, so Miss Yu invites him up to Sang-Eun's house for more private time to talk. When Sang-Eun's out of earshot, Miss Yu proactively brings up the topic of arranging for Hae-Jin and Sang-Eun's marriage. Hae-Jin lets Miss Yu know that Sang-Eun is actually currently dating someone. After a little hesitation at this, she still doesn't give up and promises to help Hae-Jin win Sang-Eun back. Hae-Jin coldly calls her out for treating Sang-Eun like an object. On their way out, Hae-Jin warns Sang-Eun to be careful about who she keeps around her, as they may not all have her best interest at heart. At this moment, Hae-Jin's father calls him, and he hesitates to pick up. Reason being, his family is insisting on meeting Sang-Eun, and he doesn't want to rope her into any of it. Sang-Eun doesn't want Hae-Jin to have a hard time with his family and offers to go see them as her last service under contract. That night, Woo is folding laundry when he notices Miss Yu's predatory eyes on him. She offers to share a bottle of extremely expensive wine with him, and so he comes running. He quickly learns of her ulterior motive. She wants to kick him out of his own home that he shares with Sang-Eun. Reason being, she doesn't want the Kanjin group to have any reason to reject Sang-Eun, especially something as inappropriate as having a male roommate. Gasp! Okay, so I guess she never bought Sang-Eun's claim that Woo is her husband. He is pretty offended by this and he runs off without taking a sip of the wine. The next day, one of Jiho's co-worker is telling the others that she feels strongly that Jiho's wife and Hae-Jin's fiancé are the same person. The others mock her for watching too much Korean drama, since that's such an outrageous accusation. As for Ji-yeon, she's busy helping Hae-Jin clean up the mess of his exposed fiancé. They removed most of the photos circulating online and suppressed news coverage in various media channels. She learns from Hae-Jin that Jiho and Sang-Eun's contract period is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week. This makes her feel guilty because when her marriage with Jiho was in trouble, he requested that they have dinner together every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in an attempt to save their relationship. Hae-Jin can tell that Ji-young has some unsavory intentions towards Jiho and warns her not to do anything because he doesn't want Sang-Eun to get hurt. Unfortunately, Ji-young is a selfish bee, and even though she promises him that she won't try anything, behind his back she conspires with his mom as a way to get Jiho back. As for Hae-Jin, he finds Ji-ho and confronts him about what Ji-yeon said, that he hired Sung-yeon to replace his ex-wife because he couldn't get over her. He convinces Ji-ho to also give up on Sung-yeon, stating that she deserves someone better than both of them. Finally comes the day of the meeting between Sung-yeon and Hae-Jin's parents. Hae-Jin's mom is forceful in trying to advance their marriage, whereas Hae-Jin's dad finds ways to criticize Sung-yeon while also trying to pressure them to get married. Sung-yeon knows the purpose of her showing up today is to get Hae-Jin out of this tricky situation, so she lets them know that she's been divorced a number of times, holding up 2 fingers. Hae-Jin's mom thought, okay, she's been divorced twice, stating that maybe they can try to accept this. Sung-yeon clarifies, oh no ma'am, the number of times I have been divorced exceeds 2 digits. This sends Hae-Jin's parents over the edge, and the dinner ends prematurely along with the marriage talk. Hae-Jin tells Sung-yeon on their way out that she doesn't need to choose him, but she really doesn't need to choose Ji-ho either. This guy's sole purpose in the show is to ruin things for Ji-ho, man. Ji-ho's been reflecting at home, listing out all the new things that he's learned about Sung-yeon. He concludes that they haven't had much chance to share their past with each other. If they want to get along better in the future, they need to do some homework. That night, he calls her over to his place, saying that he wants to get to know her better. He has a long list of questions, but right now he only cares about one. From today onwards, can they be considered official? Sung-yeon's blank expression and long hesitation causes him to feel dejected, until she breaks out into a brilliant smile and says that she actually considers the night that they had that passionate kiss in the car to be their first official day of dating. Ji-ho turns into a proper judge and tells Sung-yeon that he has about 500 questions to interrogate her with, all written down in his little notebook. He even declares that he will not let her go until he's gotten the answer to every single one. His desire to get to know her makes Sung-yeon so happy, and she opens up to him about her past, all the good and the bad that came with her unusual upbringing. Ji-ho senses the sadness in her voice as she retells her story and decides to give up on his notebook for now. Finally, they start in on what official couples are supposed to do, which is making out on the couch. Just as it's about to get to the good part, they are interrupted by a call from Woo. Sung-yeon runs to the bathroom to answer it quickly, but when she comes out, all fired up to continue their makeout session, Ji-ho's actually fallen asleep on the couch. How man, how? Sung-yeon is understandably disappointed, but then she gets another call, and this call causes her to rush to the police station. There, she meets up with Hae-Jin and Ji-yeon. As it turns out, they have finally caught Hae-Jin's motorcyclist stalker. He's not a deranged Hae-Jin fan, instead, he is one of Sung-yeon's old clients. He's been obsessed with Sung-yeon since their marriage contract, and even when that ended, he resorted to spying on her all day long. He's been harassing Hae-Jin when he saw how close he got to Sung-yeon. This catches Sung-yeon by surprise. She's always thought she was helping her clients when they needed a temporary wife, and all her terminations have been friendly. Little did she think one would go to such extremes because he misread the situation. If you thought this was the end of the stalker storyline, you would be wrong, because the stalker's sister feels bitter that Sung-yeon's driven her brother to insanity. She posts online that Sung-yeon is a bad woman who's scamming men, causing her brother to fall into a deep depression after she divorced him. She even posts their wedding photos so everyone can spread the news and avoid this terrible woman. Ji-young quickly finds the sister and tries to threaten her to drop this whole thing before legal actions are taken against her and her brother. I am surprised that this woman is helping Sung-yeon. I'm not sure what she's playing at here. The sister seems to take Ji-young's word to heart, and she calls a meeting with Sung-yeon to apologize to her, and even begs her on her knees to not sue her and her brother. However, it's a little too late, because the blog that she's posted online gets reposted and shared and quickly starts trending. Netizens started searching Sung-yeon up, and the fact that she's married many times quickly comes to light. To make matters far worse, since she's currently casted in the role of Hae-Jin's fiancé, the attention from his celebrity status and rich heir status intensify the spotlight on her. Sung-yeon finds out about all this on the day of her official date with Ji-ho. looking down at the negative news that's spreading out of control and looking up at the love of her life standing there holding cotton candies, totally clueless, she can feel her heart sinking fast. I feel so bad for her because by any standard, her job is quite unusual in nature and can definitely be judged harshly by others. And just when she's starting to date Ji-ho for real, can their young love handle the pressure of this bad press? Mind you, Ji-ho is a judge, so that's like a public figure, so not sure what this kind of scandal will do to his career. If news gets out that he hired a woman to be his fake wife, or even that his real wife used to scam men, how do you feel about this devastating twist? Oh man, let's move on to the next episode to see how this plays out. Remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications for my channel. Thank you for your support.